anyone needs, cream suggestions, I can talk about later on. Yeah. So as I said, my session is really focused on the student employability part. And I think this is a big challenge, not only to students in Nigeria. Actually, it's a global issue at the moment, especially after pandemic. This becomes more challenging for teachers somehow supporting their students through the learning journey. Yeah? When I talk about how we actually create some opportunities to provide the experience for our students to understand the value of their learning, how it's going to attract the companies in the labor market, yeah? Or they want to set up their own business, how their learning actually relevant to that, yeah? And the current education system somehow maybe we kind of leave their part to them. When they graduate, okay, they go to company, then they apply, yeah? But we wanted to talk about we shouldn't leave it to when they graduate. We should really integrate that into our curriculum design and really give them that experience and confidence to show their skills while they learn with us. Yeah? And also, great question from this table says, okay, we do all those fun activities, or our students sometimes maybe feel that you don't want to engage. Do we really beat them up? Yeah? Or is actually maybe we need to think about assessment feedback approach that could really guide them to engage in doing rather than just memorizing things. Yeah? Motivate them to be part of the things we created for them. Tell them why they need to do things. Yeah? And sometimes I don't really like this word brainwash, especially for Chinese people. But then sometimes we need to brainwash them a little bit just to explain why they are doing these activities, how that activity could help them in future when they look for jobs, how they use those as an example in their interviews. And then that would motivate them to think, oh, okay, I do this, then I can see I really did it. Yeah? Or institutional collaborative network. So if we want our students to do things, then the way we teach them need to be slightly different. And if we want to be different, sometimes it's quite challenging to do it on your own. Yeah? It's not easy to transform from traditional way of lecturing them, memorizing exam, to focus on something that really engaging, activity-based, and maybe student-centered. Yeah? So we need a collaborative community around us to support that. Companies need to get involved. Entrepreneurs need to get involved. The government probably also need to be aware that we are leading the change. We're making the change in the education sector. Yeah, and what's the benefit to the student. Yeah, okay. So, also, well, changing is not always easy. But we also have to be aware we're in the 21st century. Technology is booming, developing. We have so much free resource. As long as we have access to internet, we can use them to support our students if we are not immediately get the resource we have to deliver what we want to deliver. Yeah. So my session is going to be around those topics and maybe give you some examples, ideas that you can adapt it to your own situation. And we can talk about it. What's the challenge, what will be the opportunity to use them. Yeah? Okay. Right, okay. Before the session starts, I just want to understand maybe a little bit around the topic. Okay, so what are the graduates? I mean, I know some of them, maybe after high school, even middle school, they decide they're going to pause to go to a higher education. They want to maybe enter to the labor market directly. So what are the current challenges, the barriers for them to changing from their education, all of a sudden they become an employee of the company. So what are the current challenges that from the school that you come from, and what background that you come from? Like is it like easy for your student to graduate and just go directly to find a job, or it's
very difficult?
Yeah. What was the issue? What was the issue?
There's no job. There are
no more entrepreneurs to employ them. Governments do more than
So
they only read and study most skills.
oh, okay.
So can we say they're not prepared to create jobs?
Okay, they're not prepared to create jobs. There's no existing job, enough existing job for them to go to it. So what do? Do they go to university, being educated, maybe become expert in certain area, or what's the alternatives? What's the alternatives?
I think what is prevalent there now is when they come out and there's no job. You find out that's when they begin to learn these skills they're supposed to have learned years back. What do I do? Nothing again. So they begin to struggle.
So we do know that sometimes the student, they actually have the skills, yeah, okay? So they actually have the skills. But the problem they have is they don't know what's the value of their skills for the labor market. Or sometimes it's a confidence issue. Yeah? They're not confident to show their skills, maybe to show to someone more successful in the society, and they don't know how to communicate that when they had a job interview, yeah? Because they think, okay, I'm just graduate and that person is successful. So, and this actually become very challenging when we teach students in school. Somehow they graduate, they say, oh, I graduated, but I become unemployed. Yeah, and it's actually quite depressing for some of the young people as well. Realize, okay, after spend so much time studying, all of a sudden, they don't feel useful to the society.
It discourages some.
Yeah.
It discourages some to study. Because after all, there's no job after the study.
So, then what we need to realize is in the education, or entrepreneurship education particularly, sometimes it's about teaching them skills, give them opportunity to learn skills, but also make them realize how to apply skills and how their skills are valuable in which sector, in what business, and why they are very useful. Yeah? Okay? And second, maybe some of the companies or entrepreneurs or small businesses or big corporations, they don't really understand our students. Yeah? Because they might meet them when they graduate, and they make assumption, okay, it's an entrepreneurship student, and they would ask questions, so what do you do in the school? Yeah? So if it's like mathematics or marketing, so it's very specialized. And there's common understanding there. Probably it's easier for those students to go to market and say, okay, I'm a marketing student, or I'm a mathematics, or engineer student. Yeah? But entrepreneurship student, so we really need to kind of help our student in terms of communicate with those employers, the companies, to know what skills our entrepreneurship students have. They're not just necessarily the outcome is startup. Sometimes it's about the unique mindset they have, or the unique skills they have that other degree student wouldn't have. Yeah. For example, cope with tolerant of risk. Yeah. Usually, or deal with uncertainties. And those are great skills and mindsets that other degree students might not necessarily have. And those skills are highly demanded or valued when a company goes through changing phases. They want someone is a pioneer, someone can take that risk, someone can make change happen. Yeah? And that's then our entrepreneurship student will become very suitable for this type of role. For example, project management role, high demand on the market at the moment. And And also we want to really think big as educators. Yeah, we need to provide a vision for our students. Okay, Nigeria maybe currently, from what you share with me, not great employability rate, not much jobs. But we can also educate talents that may be suitable in other countries. And they're young people, they like to explore. Yeah? And I think one of the skills that our current students have that is multilingual skills. Many of them speak different languages. Yeah? And IT skills, they somehow get very quickly as you see developing app or developing website. They learn very fast that way, and sometimes we take very slow in learning those things. Yeah? And those skills sometimes are highly demanded in another countries or in different regions. So we need to encourage our students to look out. Yeah, don't just limit it to what they have currently. And other challenges, engagement, if we provide all this, okay, but maybe, is our student comfortable enough to what we give to them? Yeah. We can teach more innovative, creatively, but if students from childhood, when come to the middle school or high school, they get used to a certain way of learning. Yeah, they like being told what to do. All of a sudden you said, okay, you do things, and they got scared. Yeah, or they don't feel comfortable. You put them in that position. Like, you're a teacher, you're telling me what to do. Yeah, I get this reacting a lot in my class. Yeah, so how do we deal with this? So all this, yeah.
I want to ask about the semantic number one.
Number one. Okay.
Yeah, let's think of the English. Can a student have skill without competence? What is skill? What is competence?
Oh, okay. This is a very good question.
Yes.
How do you understand it? Like, do you think skill is the same thing as a competence?
If somebody is not competent, he can't have skill.
Yeah.
If he's skillful, then he will be competent.
I don't agree.
You don't agree?
I do not agree. You can have.
Where does the skill come from? Without competency, where does the skill come from?
Some have natural skills.
Okay.
There are some people who can
Maybe I'll give
draw.
you an example. Anyone use Instagram, or is there some other versions of Instagram in Nigeria, like those social media apps that you take photos of yourself and you share with your family friends? TikTok. Oh, okay, TikTok. Yeah. So some of the students in my class, they are very good at making TikTok videos. But when I ask them, can you make a video about pitching a business idea? They can't do it. So they have the skills, but they're not competent. And you need to give them some opportunities to transform their skills more suitable for the labor market. They get some, and then they're confident. Yeah.
Can we say that competence is like the knowledge of the discipline, but the skill is knowing how to apply this knowledge in the right situation?
Yeah, so maybe learning skills. Learning skills, yes. Maybe that's what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. So learning skills, or there's different type of skills. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Actually, you really explain well this part. Okay. Yeah, this is what I used to do in my class, so I always go back to the keyboard. Okay, so it's okay for you to see in the back, otherwise the slides you can see it more clear, yeah? Okay? Good. So we kind of realize the traditional way of learning means that students are giving the information, yeah, teacher knows everything, we're supposed to know everything. We go to the classroom, we tell them 1, 2, 3, 4, and they memorize it. And then we use exam or multiple questions, we test them weekly basis, on the term basis, subject basis, make sure our brain goes to their brain. Yeah, that's what we used to do, and we still do it here in the UK as well. I think in many parts of the world we do that. But the problem is the traditional learning, they leave the last part when they graduate, which is student giving a problem. They go to a company, their boss told them, okay, can you create me a marketing campaign tomorrow? They learn all the marketing tools, yeah, or all the entrepreneurship venture creation process, but when their boss asks them, can you go create this project? All of a sudden, they don't know what to do. They actually learn, yeah, but they don't have that confidence in themselves, or maybe not enough of learning skills quickly to understand the new situation and apply the knowledge there. So that's kind of the issue of the traditional approach. And that create a gap in the market, which is what the skill demand by the company and the knowledge skill they learn in the school. Yeah. And hence we say, okay, then is there any more effective approach we have to teach our students that they could really maybe, more involved, more hands-on, more doing in the way they learn, so they gain their skills, learning confidence as well when they graduate. So they are ready for the market. Their boss don't have to train them on the job. Invest a lot. And the company will be happy because you're doing the favor for them. They already have their mindset, have that skills maybe particularly suitable for that company. Yeah. So while the method we're gonna explore a little bit, I'll give you some examples, and I think Mariana also mentioned a little bit in her section, is a problem-based learning. So we kind of reverse the traditional approach. We give students to say, and I think some of you already shared examples. Yeah, there's problems there. Can you come out with a solution to it? Yeah, and our role is step away from telling them 1, 2, 3 steps, but support them. We are facilitators. We are coaches. We're not necessarily do things for them, but we're holding their hands along the way to the end that they are very comfortable with doing for themselves. Yeah. So if we go back, the teacher plays a role of supporter rather than telling them. Yeah. Okay. Actually, one of the things that is interesting that if in a relationship is if you're being too helpful, you actually take the opportunity of that person to learn. And it becomes actually a toxic relationship in a way. Because you're too helpful. Okay? And also because teachers not always telling them to do. The students, some of them learn fast, yeah? Some of them learn slow. And that really encourages them to be in a team, to form their own team and group and helping each other. So they are less resistant to this idea of team or group work, because they need to help each other out to learn. Yeah. And action learning. So this is kind of another characteristics of collaborative learning. So you really want them to do. Then they will know that with having a skill of taking video of TikTok doesn't mean they can use it in their workplace. Yeah, there is still gaps there. They need to learn. They need to really engage with the opportunity we provide them. Yeah. And it's also this type of collaborative learning has many benefits, but it's also a great challenge to ourselves, to the teachers, because sometimes it maybe become really disorganized because we don't know the answer yet. We are not maybe not 100% know the answer because the student is going to find the answer. Yeah. So we need to be comfortable with ourselves, maybe emotionally to be less helpful. Sometimes, put them in a position that for them to think discomfort is the motivation to learn. And we have to hold our helpful as a teacher's role to really give them a space to experiment. And also, this is a great way for students to learn failure, how failure actually benefits them. Yeah. And we should allow that. Yeah. So this is some part that maybe, and then maybe let's bring to another question is, okay, we allow our students to learn how to fail, how much we allow that, yeah? Because we have our own boss to answer to, in terms of, how much pass rate or the performance in your classroom, yeah? And this may be something that we can do with the assessment design. Yeah? If you teach students 1 to 3, of course you can easily measure their performance. Okay, it's 80%, 90%, how much they copy my brain. Yeah? But if it's they solving their problem, okay, and they have the opportunity to do things, they have the opportunity to tell you what they can come up with. Maybe the assessment needs to be slightly different, in a different way. Okay, so I will give you some real examples in terms of what we could think as a best practice of different universities that I observed. Yeah. So the reason why we have to go all those trouble of changing, or maybe complementary to the traditional way of teaching, is because if we're looking at what the skills actually students learn, if a student if they graduate from a more collaborative learning-based teaching. So they have coordination skills. Yeah. They have clarified communication skills. Yeah. They know how to help each other. They know how to talk to each other. Yeah. Yeah? So you can see all those great skills that they learn based on the collaborative learning approach is highly demanded on the market according to LinkedIn's 2024 research, market research, or what company like, what skills they like people to have when they employ them. Do you also use LinkedIn in your country? Yes. Okay, so this is the very reason 2024 mostly in demand skills, and it's actually matching to what skills produced if we use less traditional approach to teach our students. Yeah. So this kind of gives us some of the thinking there. So now I will give you some examples about what collaborative learning means and what it means when we teach entrepreneurship. Yeah? So one of the examples I give to you, I don't know whether you learned that yesterday in a session about the venture creation process.
No.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. It's okay. Yeah, it's not very complicated, but this probably also answer one of the questions that you raised regarding what content we teach our students about entrepreneurship. Yeah. So in one of the key content that we teach our students is the process of creating a business. And there's 3 main stages, and with each main stage, we have sub-activities that support students to complete that stage. Yeah, the ultimate goal we have is actually for them to create a business plan. So why business plan? Why business plan? It's the first step, right? It's the first step for them to communicate with others.
Yeah.
They might get investment. They might, get the first customer. Yeah. But before they actually, from the idea, which is they wake up one day, they think they're gonna selling an Apple to an Apple computer. There's many stages they have to go through. Yeah. So first stage is called ideation and market validation. So, they can validate market here, but sometimes it's too late to validate here. If they already put so much time is also money. Yeah. So we want them to test a little bit in the very beginning which idea would work with maybe real customers or potential customers, so they can make informed decision on which idea to go for. Yeah. So the first stage is ideation and market validation. And second stage is when they are quite clear which idea they would stick with. And they go to the second stage called product development or innovation and market entry. Yeah. So they really create an innovative product, or sometimes not functional, maybe prototype. Yeah. And they can show others, some of their potential customers can get some ideas how it will look like. And then they will try to convince the first customer to pay for that. Yeah? And whatever business plan they written in the end, very important element, or anyone who will give money would ask them, what's your sales record? Yes. Yeah? Okay, whether being successful. So the result produced here wouldn't satisfy the investor in the end. The result produced here gives some assurance that the idea would work. But in what scale this would work? And that's why in the third stage, students need to learn or need to write about what's the operation plan, yeah, to what scales they want to build the idea to, and what resource they need to build that operation level. So this may be a little bit
This should not be teaching. You said teaching stage. It should not be teaching stage for easy learning.
the third one.
Yes, if you are going to teach students with this, they will not easily understand.
They would not easily understand.
The ideation and market validation is not the same. They are not the same stage.
Okay, so why do you think it's quite challenging for the student to understand?
The ideation is different from market validation.
It's different. It's two small steps.
Why is it not separated for easy communication to the student? So that the student can really assimilate. But when the ideation comes in, that's true creative thinking.
Yes.
That's okay, I want to work this out, work this out. It's not the same thing like market validation.
Oh, okay.
Do you agree?
You want them to be open and
one by one. Yes.
one by one, yeah.
For easy assimilation.
Yes. So it is a one by one.
Yes.
But the first one, the purpose of ideation stage is to feed into, to have that validate with another person. So because our students, they're very creative, yeah? And ourselves as well. We might have like 100 ideas that we wanted to set a business with. But how do we make a decision if we have limited resource? Yeah, we don't have like billions like other people to invest. So how do you make a decision? Even with the time you have, you only have 24/7. Where do I spend time to really develop this idea to a real thing? So you need that market validation to give you that information to make that decision, to say, I'm going to focus on this now, just to try. Yeah?
Yeah, because if we didn't validate it, then we fail as we move along.
Then, so maybe that's a concept of innovation that we can talk about. What's the difference between innovation and invention?
Invention is first creativity.
So it's the ideation stage.
That's yes.
Yeah.
Now, later, after adding value, after value addition,
Yes.
innovation has taken place.
But how do you know what value to add? The value is not from you, it's actually the needs of customer. It's the market telling you what value to add.
So they are related.
So that's, exactly. So that's the reason why the first stage of validation actually is very important. Actually, there's something fun I want to share with you. In Amsterdam, I think, or New York, there's 2 museums called Museum of Failure. If you ever had a chance to go have a look, it's very interesting. So many of them, great design, great idea, but they were never on the market. So they never go through those stages. They just stop here. Just never validated in the market. Yeah. So one key thing about teaching entrepreneurship is actually teach our students to focus on what values they create in the business that for others. If they can understand that, they already have money in their pocket. Yeah. So this is kind of an important part that we need our students to understand. And this is actually quite common. Our students, if you ask them, okay, what business ideas they have great business ideas. But once they go through the validation, get the first customer, and then realize how much money they needed to raise, what is the plan they needed to have, how many people they need to hire, and they decide, especially in this stage, all my students think, I'm going to hire 10 people. There would be accountancy, there would be marketing manager, there would be someone in charge of this. That's our students thinking, right? And then once they calculate how much money they need to pay those people, and they decide, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do everything myself. Yeah? So it becomes real, not just idea. It becomes real once they reach to this stage. So,
sorry, on the market validation.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, you have metrics attached when you can attest that, yes, I've got the standard, the value.
Okay, very good idea. So this way, or maybe this has become more technical, but we can talk about this. So in the market validation stage, you can have 2 ways of validate. One way is through secondary data. So nowadays, there's many databases available on the market, or news you can read to say, oh, this product become popular. That product is in demand. Or nowadays people like to spend money this way, that way. Okay, those informations can also validate your idea, yeah? But what's the most effective way to validate an idea is to talk to someone who is your potential customer. So it's very important in here, the first stage, for our students to identify who are the target customers. Yes, great idea, but who you think that willing to pay you. Yeah, might not be the ones they imagined once they go through that, but they needed to hypothetically thinking who is the one, so that they can be more focused in their business plan. Yeah, and also more convincing for the investors, because this is going to be the first question any investors would ask when they come to pitch an idea. Who is going to be your customer? How much do they pay? How much do they have in their pocket that you think they are going to be, can afford your product? Yeah? So, and people also think that innovation really depends on the technology. But if we're really looking into innovation and the concept, innovation is actually all about understanding the needs of the people. Then you can be innovative. Yeah. Innovation without value or usefulness to others is useless. It's just invention. Yeah. So those are the kind of key theoretical concept behind the entrepreneurship and innovation, and we want our students to understand that, because it's very important to give them that confidence or knowing what to focus when they want to set up their own business. Okay. I shouldn't really spend much time on this because you will have more time with our colleagues this afternoon to talk about this. Yeah. But what I want to focus is, okay, for each stage that I show you what type of activity that we use in the classroom or university around the world use in the classroom to teach our students. To understand their mindset, to gain the skill that they can apply their knowledge, and also to become competent and confident in themselves that they can apply those skills and knowledge. Yeah, okay. So first I want to talk about, some of the simulations, gamification activities, similar to maybe some of the similarity to Mariana's. You can also link that. And also live project. So project that you can co-create with companies to give student problems. They can come up some solutions for it. Yeah. So you involve the company in the beginning, and they really understand what type of student you have, whether they have that skills and knowledge ready for them. Yeah. Some students can even get employment offer before they graduate if you run this type of activities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, okay, if we really switch the way we teach our students, we give problem first rather than give them knowledge first, then what type of assessment feedback approach we need to take to engage them, to make them comfortable in that really uncomfortable situation. Because you put them in the front, yeah, and they have to really drive themselves to learn and discipline themselves to learn, or help each other to learn. So they're very, some of our students don't like to be in that position. Yeah? Sometimes maybe our management don't like this position. Yeah? So how do we convince them? And also, if we want to get support, what type of support available in terms of network we need to build if we want to run this type of teaching design. Yeah? And also some of the digital tools. If we don't have enough resources, maybe can help us break those barriers and overcome some of those challenges. Okay. So first, creative experiential learning. Anyone know this concept? What is experiential learning? Sorry about small font, but maybe you can have a look slide. So it's about experience, right? About doing. It's a learn by doing. It's not doing after learn, but you learn at the same time the doing it.
I would say in a curriculum on a particular inner knowledge.
In your knowledge?
Inner knowledge.
Inner knowledge, okay. Oh, experiential, yes. So once you have that experience, but if you don't reflect on it, if you don't embody it, or you don't integrate into what you do, change your own behavior or mindset, then you didn't learn. You only have experience, but you didn't learn. Yeah? So that's why it's very important for students in the first stage, for example, I'll give you an example, which also very interesting, because Mariana mentioned a Lego. Yeah? So one way to build our students' learning confidence is simulate the situation for them before they actually go to do the real thing. Yeah? So what I did in the classroom, sorry I have to cover their big smile. I don't know I don't know whether this is something that's sensitive in your country, but in the UK, without the consent of the person, you can't show their face in the public. So last night I was trying to cover their face so you become unrecognizable. But those are our students. So what they did is in the classroom, I said, okay, do you have business ideas? And they say, oh, we have many ideas. Okay, I say, this is a Lego. Can you use the Lego to create something that represents the thing that you want to offer to the market? Yeah, so it's very random. And then pitch to your classroom, to your colleagues. And then everyone, I print out some fake money, illegal, but it's just pictures. And I ask them to vote. And when one student pitch, I say, how much money do you willing to give this person's idea? Yeah, and and in the end, you're gonna give the comment. You're gonna justify why this person they only spend £10, the other person they are willing to give 1,000. So you really have this role play
for them to understand the business from the investment perspective, and then when they go pitch to the investors, they know what to focus. Yeah, because they get their practice in the classroom. And this type of game is kind of easy to arrange in the classroom setting. Yeah. You might not necessarily have Lego if you have huge class size. In the UK, we usually have small, like 25 per class. Maybe you have 100 students or 400, I don't know. Then you might not be able to afford the logo for everyone. So what you can do is, there's another thing I tried with my students. I give them a scenario to say, oh, there's polar bear. So there's environmental issue. We see that in North Pole, okay, polar bear is actually almost extinct because the environmental change, because the ice kind of melt, and some of them being left in a very small ice island, and they couldn't fish or they couldn't find things to eat. So I give this scenario to my students to say, can you use whatever you can find on the table, just like that, and create something that you could help the polar bear? Yeah? And this is what my students point out. So one of them thinking, okay, there may be a spaceship. So they use all those tools, very easy, like bottles or maybe cups or papers. But they can really use whatever they can find and create a prototype and explain the solution. Yeah? So, we can be all more creative when resource is not really available there. And it not necessarily to be the Lego that we could use, it could be anything. And this also kind of challenges to the student to think, okay, when you start up, you maybe have zero budget. Then how can you still convince others? You don't have anything. Do you just give up your business idea? Or you actually didn't really think you already have so much that you can use? Yeah? So, those mindsets sometimes is through those experiences that students realize, oh, it's actually true. I'm maybe not Steve Jobs, but I also have something that I can offer. Maybe my grandma's recipe, no one else knows. Yeah? And of course, then you need to go through those stages to legalize, to get patent, yeah? Have an intellectual property, and then you can sell your grandma's recipe. Yeah? And before you do all that, you need to know how many people like your grandma's recipe. Yeah? Okay? So, these are very interesting things that we can use in the classroom for our students to validate ideas, to gain the confidence about learning entrepreneurship. Once they pass the second stage, usually students are quite focused enough. And now we really need to help them to get into the idea planning stage. And in the second one, which at the moment I give you one example, but this is more like university level student, and also those tools that I will introduce, they are all digital tools, because nowadays our students, they can't drop their phones. I don't know about your students. Do they allow phones in the school?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. I thought about that. How about computers?
Yes.
Okay, computers. Yes, okay, that's good.
Not that they bring from home.
Not their personal computers.
No computers. Ah.
We're talking of secondary school.
Yes.
Secondary school, no computers. Okay.
No, there's
There's computers.
School computers.
Full computers.
School computers.
Okay, do you have like a
Personal.
maybe computer lab or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things is sometimes if we couldn't find like physical objects or resources students can use, we can really use those digital tools. As long as they have access to laptop or computer, yeah, access to internet, then they can gain, or tablets, they can really gain that similar experience. Yeah. So one of the activities I designed for my students is called Team Innovation Challenge. So what I ask them to do is to produce a game that they can pitch to a tech company. Yeah, and they needed to do that within 6 weeks. And this is a great challenge to students. They go, oh, I don't play game, or I don't know coding. I don't know what tech company requires. And then in the end, this is what they have done. Actually, I want to. This is what my students produced in 6 weeks. You actually can play. Maybe if you have phone, you can play the game. Sorry, no. Okay. Maybe I can show. Anyone know Dragon's Den? Do you watch Dragon's Den? Yeah. So this is a kind of UK TV show with the investors sitting there, and the other people come to pitch their business idea and ask for investment. It's a very intense experience because they ask very serious questions. They really want to know every single detail of your business plan or the real product, the prototype that you need to present. And they will give you money sometimes, but most of the time they reject people to say your idea is not validated. Yeah. So my students, they create a game based on this concept, but they also kind of integrate their own fantasy about dragon. Like dragon, we know them, they're very greedy. They collect gemstones, yeah? So they combine those two together and they say, oh, Dragon's Den is about entrepreneurship. If you want to learn entrepreneurship, you need to first knowing those. Yeah, so there's a couple questions about entrepreneurship that they needed to answer. And if they answer, then they can collect different color of gemstones. Once you collect all the gemstones, then you are qualified as a person that have a very good knowledge of entrepreneurship. And they want to use this game actually for our open day in the university. So what we did.
Can I just ask, do you know what software they use to make the game?
Yeah, so I will show you. It's called January. It's actually free. Yeah, I give you all the links in the handout that you print out. Yeah. Generally, not just for game, actually gamification template. There's other things you can do. It's a very powerful tool. Yeah, you can explore yourself, or we can have more conversations after class about it. So, yeah, so we actually use our student product in our open day. So when the parents comes with their own child, we show them what their child could do in the classroom with the teachers in 6 weeks about building something very interesting and very useful. Because the university, we do benefit from how students show their learning outcome. Yeah. So this is actually sound. There, if you can remember this. And then the first gem you collect is called Earth Gem, yeah, which is in, I think Earth is, which color, I forgot. So which is a balance sheet also known as. So those are the knowledge they learn in the entrepreneurship class. What is balance sheet? Which is the balance sheet? Maybe we give a try.
Mm-hmm.
Which one? The statement of changing equity or of financial position?
Financial position.
Oh, okay. Oh, you collect. Understanding of financial concept will help entrepreneur. Which one?
Control business expenses.
Control business expenses. Here the word you get Earth gemstone. Yeah? And then there's 4 of them. Yeah? Okay, sorry, I'm not going to spend more time here, but this is kind of very fun, but also engaging for the student, and they really feel the confidence afterwards to think. Technology is something I can control as well. So technology is something I can manage. Yeah.
That's really so cool. I didn't know you're doing that now. What year students do you have doing that?
Level 6, so year 3 students.
So they're not even master's level, they're undergraduate.
Undergraduate
Okay,
level.
wow.
Yeah. So just similar to your maybe high school level student. I think in terms of maturity, probably similar. But it's quite fun for them to do, and they are not afraid of using high tech to realize the ideas they have, to show people the ideas they have. So I call it game prototyping.
How easy is it for the educators to actually experiment building with this software design? Because is it user-friendly for
It's
someone?
very user-friendly. It takes me, before I provide this to my student, I don't know. I don't play game. And I don't know how to create a game, but it takes me one video to learn how to, because the website nowadays is many AI-driven platforms that have templates, very smart. So you just click, choose. It's like build our Facebook page, yeah? And you choose different elements, and then you try to show the idea as much as possible with the functionality of that template. Yeah? But it's good enough for our students. Yeah? Okay. So generally it's a 1, and then the challenge for the student in this module, not just build a game, because they needed to pitch the game to the investors. I actually run this module during COVID time. So classroom is not allowed. So what we did is we actually asked the student to pitch, produce a video to pitch, rather than pitch in person. And also nowadays, rarely you would have time to meet all the investors in one room. So what you need to do is that video skills to produce a video pitch that communicate your ideas. Yeah. So I'll show you some of our students' pitch video. And it's also a free video pitching app that you can also use for your students. It's also very easy to learn. Oh, sure. Maybe I can show you the video after.
Would you mind if we steal you for 5 minutes? Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you.
Module content we upload online, so if some students maybe want to catch up later on, they can come back and look at all the slides and videos themselves. Yeah, but you don't have to have like a complicated system like that. You can just use OneDrive or Dropbox. All those are free, like online space that you can use to share with the student. Yeah? And for yourself, it's easy as well. You don't have to print out so many copies because, students can really just go there and look at themselves. So in my class, as you can see, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams. So there's 3 students per each team. The reason for that, because I use the Google company's project management process to teach my students to be innovative in developing a project. And according to Google, there is 3 different roles you will have in the innovation team. So one role is called decision maker role, someone who leading the team, yeah. And there's product manager role, and there is customer expert role. So what you do here is you segregate the leadership among different students. So all of them need to lead the team in a different way. So they cannot free ride and say, okay, I leave all the work to others, because they have to lead a particular part. And also, this is kind of what Google used for their own project management and innovation as well. There's 3 different roles for the innovation team. So I imitated that in the classroom environment for my students to gain some experience about innovation in the project. And this is what they come up with.
What of the remain one room?
Nick?
Yes.
Do you know which one do they use to show the video?
Wait a moment. Moment.
This one.
You want to show that?
Yeah. Yes, among young people. So they think that those days young people too much engage with internet, they forget how to socialize their own people. And so there's huge mental health issues among young people. And they develop a game that it can measure their own level of stress. And they want to pitch this game to Microsoft because Microsoft has a scheme that wanted to help people with the mental health issues. Yeah. Okay? Yeah.
A professional, Roy, who is the decision maker of our company. Kate is our customer expert. And Margarita is the product manager of MRK. Our mission at MRK is to create impactful and entertaining gaming experiences while also promoting awareness and understanding of mental health issues, starting with anxiety. We believe in using the power of play to educate and engage people on this important topic and to help reduce the stigma surrounding it. As a tech company, we want to establish a strategic alliance, therefore we chose Microsoft Corporation. Apart from developing and supporting software, services, devices, and solutions, Microsoft has been dominating in the gaming industry for several years. Their mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And their vision is to help people and businesses throughout the world realize their full potential. There are a few examples of mental games that Microsoft has developed. In addition, Microsoft.
So this is stage to validate their idea. They look at the competitors.
Games and applications with brain training and cognitive
Yeah, maybe
development
faster
features.
forward if you can.
Welcome to Mind Maze. Mind Maze is an educational and
So this is a
interactive
game they developed.
to raise awareness about anxiety and promote mental health awareness. At the beginning, players have the chance to create the characters that best portrays themselves. Along the way, players have multiple decisions they can make which dictates how the story unfolds. These decisions will impact their mental health as well as their social skills. This gets illustrated through the bar charts that can be found in every scene during the game. Overall, Mind Maze provides players with a unique and powerful perspective on what it's like to live with anxiety, while also showcasing strategies and techniques for coping with it. We use the sprint method to achieve a safe, fun environment where players can learn interviews with 10 students and orders. Secondly, stages. Firstly, desirability of our product by following.
So this is the Google sprint process for innovation. Of course, I simplify a little bit and I kind of build it into how much time I have to teach my students about innovation. Yeah, because the learning outcome of this module is to teach our students innovation in startups. I actually give you one of the slides that introduce all the methods I use for our students to produce this. Yeah, it's on your slides. Also, one thing is very important is to validate the market. So
decided to create Mind Maze.
What I suggest my students to do is maybe instead of going to a real market research with a real customer, they can use their colleagues to validate their ideas. So they ask their colleagues to play their games, and they give feedback, and then they integrate the feedback to improve the game. So they go through the entire process of building something from scratch, from an idea. Yeah. So then the students, if one day they apply job in Google, for example, then they already know how Google works. Yeah, they had the experience. And even in the interview, they can talk about it. I know your innovation process, this is your process. I did this project, which I use this platform, and I have go through building the prototype, I tested, I integrated, so they can really impress the company employees about what they could do. And because they had experience already when they learn with us. Yeah? I do notice the time, so I'm going maybe to fast forward with some other approaches. So I give you more links here. I will share the slides as well that you can explore in your own time. Or any questions you can ask me. You're gonna meet me on Friday again, or later on I give you my email. You can ask me. I can maybe give you ideas. So all those tools that for students to produce video, for students to produce the game, are online free platforms. And it's very easy for ourselves to learn. You can just watch one video, 10 minutes, you will learn it. And for our students, even quicker. Yeah? But I do get resistance in the classroom to say, oh, what's the game? I don't know game, all this. But sometimes you just have to do with them together. So you do one step, they do one step, and the rest of them, they just run. They run faster than you. Yeah? So in the beginning, you show them a little bit, and they're going to be really helpful. So generally, apart from the gamification I showed you, you can also use generally to produce slides. Then it looks like a video rather than slides PowerPoint we use. And Beatable and Scream or Cosmetics, they are video producing apps. And they're very easy to use and edit videos, add music, as you see my student did, yeah, subtitles and editing. So it's also very useful for the student, yeah, in the, not just maybe for entrepreneurship students, for other subjects as well. It's a good skill for them. Yeah. Upsplash is a database that provides different images that for different concepts. Sometimes you make more energetic, colorful, more engaging, more fun, that you can download. So all the copyright is free, so you don't have to worry about violate any copyright issues. So those are the digital platforms that you can use. And the last stage, once the student have a confidence, have the skills, then it's about really plan to start. So one of the things I did with my students is to validate their operation and investment plan, is to use a platform called Crowdfunder. Any of you actually investing on startups online? Yeah? Yeah? Do you do that?
We lost the money.
You lost money? Okay. Yeah, it's a bit risky, but that's the future is. Our student generation, they do everything online. And they stop going to the stores. Yeah? So so this is actually Nigeria student in London. He is a filmmaker. So I think in a 2 weeks, 2 months time, he managed to raise himself £800 online, around £800 online, by creating a page like this. First, this platform is free. Anyone can create a page. Yeah, anyone with idea can create a page. But good things about this page is not just for people give you money. It's for you validating your ideas. If people can start giving you £10, it's attracting ideas. So this is my challenge to my students in the classroom. I ask them to use that platform to raise funds for charity. And look at what they did in the end. So they have some projects. And what I also did is I asked co-founder, so the free platform, the company, to come to teach my student in the classroom how to use the platform. And you wouldn't believe, actually, many companies like those learning platforms nowadays, they are very happy to help you. You don't have to teach yourself, because they want people to upload their ideas in their website. So they will be happy to help you teach your student how to use their platform. So in one of the modules I designed, I asked this company co-founder come to help my student build a page that to raise funds for charity. But what if you think that maybe a little bit too challenging for high school student or middle school student? And what other way you could do is maybe ask them to set up a store somewhere where they think the ideas they have that people would be willing to pay for. So I have this group of students. So their business idea is to create an artwork that helps the council to preserve the planets locally. So what they did is, maybe you can see on your slides, is to produce a frame. And the frame, they bought it online, Amazon, cheap. And they go pick the leaf themselves, like those, because they have the knowledge which local plants are really precious and important. And they put it in, they make an artwork with those leaves. And they start selling it. And all the funds they raise, they donate back to the council to help preserve the local nature. Because that's the healthy ecosystem that they build. Yeah. So, because of time, I'm not going to explain the other two, but it's a similar concept that they want. So some of them really want to preserve the handcraft, yeah, vintage window, and this one they really want to help kids in deprived areas to have enough resource to learn. So they all have their own way of addressing social issues with entrepreneurial means. Okay. And because the students start from here, yeah, everything is kind of not real. The simulations, they have the experience of presenting to their own colleagues. In the end, they can really produce something that they can present to the investors. And nowadays, there's many channels that are available for students to kind of communicate their ideas. So one company that I collaborate with is called Legend Club. So they are online channels for startup pitches. And there is, so this online channel is open for the investors who are interested in tech startups. And I asked him to come to my classroom to hear some of, or ask my student to send him some of the pitches that my student did. And he get to select the few to be broadcast in that channel for investment. And the winning team actually not get the money, but get the expert to coach them to develop that further. So sometimes, yes, money is our end goal for helping our students, but there's small steps in between we can really support them with collaboration with the industry people, with the companies. And they are there because they also want to build that healthy ecosystem. Yeah? So, it's a common goal there. We just have to maybe go out, talk to people, really see what's the opportunities there to bring in. Or internet is a way to look into it. So, this is another thing we did in Brunel. There's a company, during the COVID, they really have supply chain management issues. and then they come to the classroom to ask, okay, can we actually present our problem to your student so they can propose a solution to us? And in the end, he was very happy. Some of our students actually did information system students did great work for him. So maybe that's the way, if you don't think digital is something that, maybe getting too complicated because our students maybe not very organized in a short period of time, or you need a longer time to prepare for that. Then this is maybe more quick way to do the same thing. Yeah, invite a company who has an issue. They might not have the budget to pay someone expert, but they can have a small budget to come to the campus and present their problems, and that could be a problem for your student to gain some learning experience. Yeah. And another thing I really want to say is this one. So we might think we're on our own to make all those changes. It's a huge pressure on us. But if we're really looking out, sometimes there's many things we can do, even with our competing institutions. Yeah. So last time, actually, what I did with for my MBA students is I invite another group of entrepreneurship students from another London university to come to campus, and we organize a pitch competition. So see which student presents better. Yeah. So competitors not necessarily our enemies. Sometimes we have common goal there, right? Because that's how we become competitors. Yeah. So you need to think more how to cooperate rather than compete. Co-opetition, that's the word I'm looking for. So co-creation, co-opetition, all those is a way of thinking for our educators. Yeah? And also the fact that now you are here, you have international partners. Yeah? So, what we do in our class with our students, if your student wants to be part of it, there's the internet. Yeah. There's a Zoom, there's Teams. We can do something together. Yeah? So the picture I showed you here is one of the group of students I coach in Switzerland, and I connect them with my student when I was in Coventry. So what they did is very interesting. One term, my student is doing online project, and because they are students, they learn how to coach. So they coach my students to pitch to the investors, and then they went to Switzerland to pitch the investors over there. That they help my student to the Swiss students help my student to connect. So there is an exchange, like one term to do this, one term to do that. So if that's something.
Can I add? That's really great. Can I ask, do you ask for permission to do that, or are you doing?
Yeah. So in Coventry, there's a project called Collaborative International Online Learning. So there's a scheme built up, and all the students has a bursary, like £300, to on top of whatever they can pay to go. Yeah. But if you don't have that budget, you can do everything online. Yeah. So this is the time when there's COVID. I can't travel with my students, and I did the entire project online with a Swiss student. Yeah. So that's maybe something that you think that you could do something with Brunel together. Yeah, we could explore that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. I do notice time. I think I want to end my presentation here, and if we have any questions, maybe we can discuss this over lunch. Yeah. So my session is really to think about how do we teach collaboratively with the resource we have, digital, our partners, our competitors. Yeah. And also how we actually co-create with our students, not just we leading. They can take the lead. Yeah. And we can provide, we are facilitators, we are supporters to make the opportunity for them to make mistakes and really learn from what they do. And maybe in that way, then they can be more prepared for the labor market. I talk to companies, see what they need from our students. I integrate that in our curriculum design. So all these things that for me really help. So I leave this page for you to think about, or maybe any questions regarding what I say.
Let's go back to the class as a team innovation.
Oh, okay.
So this is not the team innovation.
This one. Or the slide before?
Yeah, this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The decision maker and the product manager
And the customer.
and the customer expert.
Yeah.
Why is there no finance there?
So no, because this is still the prototyping stage. So it's a product development stage, it's the innovation stage.
If you are innovating, if you are innovating,
Yeah.
you should talk of finance.
Yes.
Because if you put the decision maker, that's one, that's a manager. Another manager for production, another manager for customers and marketing. What about
The finance, okay. So finance is coming to this activity. So maybe whatever ideas they produce, and they can create a page like this online and see if they can get investment for the product they create. So all those games, or videos, they can really upload online to that platform
it's
and
not
get
a
it.
complete team.
Before, you think?
Even now, it's not a complete team. If it's a team innovation,
Which one? Sorry.
I think this one.
Oh.
It's not a complete team without finance.
You can't complete without finance. Okay. I think for teaching entrepreneurship, one of the concepts we really want students to understand is the limited resource. Because if we're looking into the definition of entrepreneurship, is to create something new on the limited resource.
Yeah.
So if we keep pushing our students to think everything needs to be planned well, everything needs to be ready for you to start, then they maybe take longer to start. So that's why even for this project or many projects I showed to you, one of the conditions we make to our students is zero budget. And that's why they need to look at free stuff.
Free stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and to really use their creativity. And that's the competence they need to have as entrepreneur. Yeah, and they realize not only that they can make things happen without anything themselves, they can even help others with zero budget. That's why all the funds they raise, they go to charities. Even they also start from zero budget.
The decision maker without the budget, then now what you say now you can't negate the other one you said about the idea and market software
okay, so when we see money, maybe there's different ways to think about resource. There's tangible resource, money or all this, right? But is an intangible resource, like things not visible, can be converted to money. Yeah? So that's also kind of an idea we want our students to think about. How to convert that. Yeah?
Financial management.
I think that if you bring it in earlier, the consideration for finance can be brought earlier in the process. I don't see why you can't bring it earlier as part of the team, if that's what you want. If your learning outcome for the student is to teach them about financial and accounting awareness, you can bring it earlier in the process. You don't have to wait until the late stage 3. I don't see why you should bring it early.
Yes.
Right?
Well, and again, I think students have other subjects where finance is. So they must have had knowledge of finance even before they got into entrepreneurship. So the integration of finance and
okay, we put this because until here, they know everything related to the finance of startup. They can produce really comprehensive business plan for financial part. Yeah, but this doesn't mean you wait till end to do everything. They can collect information about the cash flow, how much budget along the way, but they will produce the financial plan in the end. I think that's what you are asking, yeah? Yeah, of course, doing innovation, they can also think about what financial information they need to put in the business plan. But they might have to leave it to the end because the operation plan is coming after they validate the market. Yeah? Okay? Oh, thank you so much. Is there any other, maybe people are up for lunch now, it's been a long morning, yeah, and lots of information to digest. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. So, if you have any questions, have a maybe look at slides. I also share the digital version, and then we can talk about it.
Sorry, okay, I can help you out.
Want to pitch this to the investors, yeah, and because it's a teamwork, so there is a couple of international students involved as well. There's a combination of a Nigerian student with a student from Thailand, and they really want to give the Thai student a chance to learn English. So the Thai student was presenting the idea, but all the idea is a teamwork. So do apologize if the English part is not really maybe comprehensive, but you get the idea what they really want to do. Yeah? Okay?
Increase the value. Oh, it's not. You're not using it.
The education sector has been hugely affected. Students of the country have no significant access to education in countries like Nigeria, so this creates a gap in society for education. As backup the problem, the students in poor countries are not equipped to adapt or transition to the new methods.
So she is from Thailand, as part of the team. And there's another student from India. So, and they really want to help her learn like how to pitch in English. So that's why they want to set her to fail. You know, actually. So this is like in-house business that they pitch to the investors. So this is the software that I actually shared the link with you that could add it to the video like this. Yeah? And it's very easy for students to learn. And sometimes we use this to create a video for our own students as well. So that's finance. So this is a market validation, so not just looking at is there any potential customer, but what's a similar product on the market? Yeah, what's your uniqueness? That's why they need to do that.
So the product is new set-top market, and the business model we will
manage the numbers.
The partnership is StarTech company because we want to keep the core market in Nigeria and looking for venture capitalists after
you know this company? That's my student find out. They say they want to pitch this to them. So this is operation plan. One by one.
And the last one is measurable. After sales of it, we will follow up the testing the product performance. Ensure that it works, they meet avoid confusion. So the last one, the company.
Okay, yeah, so I stopped there. So you even talk about how they want their company culture look like, so what's the leadership style. And also because it's a team of 5, they really learn, and from different cultures. So they really learn how to coordinate and collaborate together. So, if, you know, that's why I propose to see if you can find some international partners. I don't know how many international students you have. If you don't have a choice in your own local school, think about your international partners. Yeah, you can collaborate with them online. So your student can expose to some different cultures and different behaviors, and they can really learn those global skills. Yeah, when they're ready for the global market. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The launch ready. So here I'm actually not even giving them a problem. They have to identify problems themselves. So I use a concept in entrepreneurship called the wicked problem. Anyone have a guess what a wicked problem is? Like what it means, wicked problem? Because we use a lot in entrepreneurship education. Wicked problem. Entrepreneurship is to address wicked problem. Yeah.
Wicked problem.
Like wicked, like that.
Oh, wicked problem.
Wicked, what it is? What is wicked problem?
Bad problem.
Bad problem, right? Why is bad? Because you have no solution.
No solution.
It's very complicated. Yeah? You need doing many complicated things to make something change.
And sometimes when you solve one part of the problem,
you create more problems. Yeah? So actually, according to research, usually entrepreneurs love this type of problems. Because that's where the opportunity is for new businesses. Not to become a follower, but become a leading of changing society. Yeah? So that's the reason my students think is, okay, how do they change the education in Nigeria to better serve the unique needs of their student and local community to increase employability? And that's they come out a solution about that little box, because there was COVID time they were doing it. And they believe that many people can only access online for education. So that's why they suggest that small technology and they look into tech startup to pitch. So for us, when we teach our students, yes, it's important about finance, operation, or the how question. But sometimes we want the student really learn how to discover why question and why do you do it. And that's a way to make them become more visionary and lead the change in the society rather than waiting others to give them job. So this concept, wicked problem, is one I usually spend one lesson to teach my students about what's the definition of wicked problem, how it look like. Yeah, I give them some examples. I ask them, the student give me examples, what it would, and how do they solve it. To start the lecture about leadership, entrepreneurial leadership. How do you solve social complex problems using entrepreneurial means? Yeah. What's the business for? Why do you do business? Yeah. What's the end goal? Yeah. So you need to lift them a little bit to that level rather than just thinking, okay, making money, yes, you're making money, but what's the money for? To the end. Because that's where sustainability comes. How the business will keep running in future. Okay. All right. I think our food is, I can see the energy in the room.
I know, it's been a long morning.
Yeah.
We've been talking at you for a long time. Hopefully, at least some ideas and some creative thoughts are flowing later on, and then you can start putting together maybe some post-it notes. I will just leave some at the table. You can think about how you're going to fill out what happened in the morning and the afternoon, some ideas about assessment objectives, curriculum content, how you're going to assess at the end of the year for year 1, year 2, year 3. So I just have some brainstorming at your tables before the end of the day, hopefully, and then we'll use this for Friday as well. So start communicating. Collaborative, experiential learning with creative activities. Don't be afraid to start putting down some ideas. Yeah.
Based on the classification of the topics of yesterday.
Yeah. So every day you have some takeaway points from the sessions in the morning and the afternoon.
Okay.
So just if you want to start putting down some ideas you may want to use for developing your curriculum.
Okay, this one.
So this one, in the end of this program, like by the end of this program, the last day, we want you to take away with your own creation of action plan, what you can do within your school or in the work you do. Yeah. And this is like every day what we learn that relevant to that action plan you will create in the end. Maybe you want to make some notes. I have seen some of you making on the slides, some of you making on your own notebook, but this framework will really help you to put things in place. That will be easier in the last day that you can transfer this to the action plan you want. Yeah? Okay? So that's why everyone
continuous assessment.
Yeah, so that's how we link everyday's learning together to the outcome that you wanted to have from this program. Yeah? So that's why everyone can take a